Welcome back, friends, and we're excited to bring you Your Daily DM episode 3. How are you doing, Debbie?
I'm doing well, Mawish. It's been
Uh,
about a month since we got together, so I'm looking forward to today's discussion.
I cannot believe it's been a month already.
Yep, it's been a month.
Time is flying when
It's
you're having
flying.
fun, right?
Yep, it's flying.
So it's flying because, you've got work, life, and everything in between, right?
That's right.
Awesome. Okay. So we thought, this time around, we've had the 2 episodes. We thought we bring you something different. Instead of talking about work, life, and everything in between, we thought we would introduce ourselves and you get to know us as people, as, I don't know,
As Debbie and Mawish.
yeah, exactly, as Debbie and Mawish. Yeah.
Yeah. So today I think we wanted to talk about our backgrounds, right? We have very different backgrounds. Not only did we want to introduce ourselves, which we haven't formally done so far in episode 1 and 2, but I also thought that it would be an interesting discussion because we're so different in our backgrounds. We have a lot of differences in our backgrounds, and I'm not even sure I know all the differences we have, and so I think it'll be a good discussion.
I agree. I definitely agree. And the backgrounds is what makes it interesting and it makes it dynamic.
Yeah, I thought that it would be really good to just talk about maybe a little background on how you grew up, where you grew up, a high level, your career journey, because we kind of talked through that. In this channel, we talk about career without going into maybe too many details in it, because what I think is cool or interesting is that it doesn't matter your background or where you come from. It's really what you're made of, I feel that is very heavily dictating how successful you can be in what you want to achieve in life, whatever that is. So
I agree.
that was kind of my thought behind it. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, obviously it's not scripted, so let's just go with the flow, right?
So yeah, Mawish, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you grew up? I know some of your story, but yeah, how'd you grow up? What was life like? What did you want to be when you grew up? What did you end up doing? Right, all of that.
Yeah, so I'll try not to digress and I'll try to make it so that it's interesting. It is difficult for me, for sure, to talk about my experiences and my background, but here we are, right? And so I'll talk about where I was born and where I grew up. So I was born in a very vibrant city in South Asia called Karachi, and it's a vibrant city in Pakistan. And I was very young when I moved to the United States. So obviously I was young, so I adjusted pretty okay. But when you are living in an immigrant family, you you experience the journey together of what it takes to transition and get acclimated, right, in a new country. So that was an experience by itself. I come from a background where education is essential, so that's great. But then that means that you always have to be the best and strive for perfection. Having said that, obviously, when I was going to high school, middle school, elementary, that was just the mindset. You strive for perfection. So getting an A plus
Yeah.
was the North Star, right? Um, and so obviously things have changed now. Now I try for continuous improvement rather than perfection, and we've talked about that previously. So, where did I grow up? I grew up in South Florida in the hot and tropical climate. And going back to my earlier point, I did my bachelor's and my master's in engineering here locally and in the Miami area. And then I moved to a very different part of the country, which is the Northeast, for work. So I got a job there. I moved for work, and that's where I believe my growth happened. And why I say that is because I was not sheltered. I was not in my comfort zone. I had to go rent an apartment. I had to move away from my family and friends, which was tough, right? I needed to learn how to pay rent, how to balance a budget, which I had never done before in my life. And the lifestyle itself was very different. It was a culture shock for me. In the Northeast, everything revolves around the weather, and I was not used to that. So, all in all, a lot of learning. And then I moved to the West Coast for another opportunity. And yeah, and you and I met each other there, right? And it's been 10 years, and I'm looking forward to the next however many years, 20, 30, however many years of friendship. And so we've worked together and we've traveled together. And I would say my other opportunity for where I learned the most was traveling. Although we travel for work, but you get to learn different cultures, different lifestyles, different ways of communication, and you grow as a person having exposure to different perspectives. So I would say that's also another great opportunity. I'm very thankful for that, because that is what makes it interesting and helps me grow as a person. During those work trips, I don't shy away from a little bit of fun. And for me, what's therapeutic is shopping. I love shopping. I will find any outlet mall, any store that I can get to, just to experience that moment. And so if you know me, you know that I take extra bag with me anywhere I go outside of the country, because I fill it up with lots of stuff, and it's not just for me, it's for everybody. So I don't buy anything for myself during those trips, but more so for my family. I love to just do things for others. That is what makes me happy. Yes, there's a little bit of selfishness about myself too, where I like to buy things for myself too, but what makes me truly happy and satisfied is when I buy things for others. I think that's just a way I show love and affection.
I definitely know that about you. You're very giving and you're very kind. Yeah, you are.
I don't know about kind, but
You don't know about kind? I do. I think you are. I think you are. Don't mix up sometimes losing patience with whether or not you're kind.
you asked a very good question. You said, "What did I want to be when I
Grew up.
grew up?" So, again, going back to the culture I come from, you either would your success is defined by your profession. You could be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer.
Those were the options.
Those are the options. So I always played with stethoscope. So I wanted to be a doctor, and that's what I was always thinking about when I was going to school. But somehow I became a biomedical engineer. Who knew? And here we are. So let's turn it over to you. Let me hear about your background, your upbringing. What do you like to do for fun? Experiences? What have you learned over the course of years? And what are you excited about?
Well, I had a different background. I was born in California, and that sounds cool, but I had a really tumultuous home life, right? So it was, I've described it before as sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's it. Like it was all kinds of crazy at home when I was growing up. I'm the oldest of 6 girls in my family. And when I was young, I used to think I wanted to be a nurse until I realized I hated the sight of blood and that I thought it was gross. So then that, and I can't even tell you where nurse came from because nobody really talked about career. My mom, her background and her belief system. She just believed that women should be moms, right? And stay at home and do all of that. So we really never talked about career. As I got older, I wanted to become a fashion designer. And I actually spent every day drawing dresses, and well, it was either dresses or horses, one of the two. But I didn't want to, I mean, of course, every girl wants a pony, but I didn't, I didn't have any desire to go work on a ranch or anything like that. I wanted to be the fashion designer. So I leaned a little bit more toward all these dresses that I was designing and stuff. I actually looked into it when I became older and was at the age where I knew I should be going to college. I ended up leaving home at 16 years old through some of that tumultuous, stuff that occurred that I was living in. So a direct route from high school to college just was not in the cards for me unless I made it happen myself. So at 16, I kind of had more things to be concerned with, such as survival, right? Figuring out where to live, working to support myself, of course, not making much money at the time, and then just working to figure it out. I did know instinctively, but not because of any conversations, that I should go to college and pursue something further. But then for what? That question wasn't clear. It was just one of these, like, I know I should do that, right? As soon as my life had stabilized a little bit, I did look into going to fashion design school in LA. I'm from Southern California, born and raised in San Diego County. But the numbers associated with that degree were so astronomical to me. And I even think, especially in my position then, my family and I, we never really talked about money or anything financial or anything like that for me to contextualize what something like that should cost. So to me, it just was something completely out of reach and it's just not in the cards, right? So I did start going to community colleges. I was bored with it, to be honest. I was kind of the worst student. Not because I wasn't smart enough. I was good with the grades. I just had no direction as to what I wanted to do. I ended up falling into things like accounting, office management, stuff like that. And then eventually, through a turn of several events, and those events being that I married my high school sweetheart. Eventually, we had a son together. I stayed home with him for a couple of years and realized, wow, I'm miserable in this relationship. I need to get out. So I need to go back to work. And I was just determined. I got to get out of here. So at the time, I went to a temp agency and they placed me in the industry, in a company in the industry I now work for and have been in for 25 years. But it wasn't until I started in that industry and started learning about it that, number one, that I even knew it existed. I never thought of it. I started learning about it and I really latched onto it because it has some purpose behind it as a career. And so that became the motivation for me to finally get through school, finally finish my degree, and move forward from there. Combined with that, I've always had an interest in leading people, and I don't know why. I think it's a weird thing that just some people have, right? Which is good because it takes all types to run the world. The people that want to lead and the people that want to let someone else do it, right? And I think that that's great because that's how everything works wonderfully. And so from there, I tailored my interests around that as well. And 25 years later, I've had a really successful, enjoyable career. 10 years ago, we met, as you mentioned, we met in San Diego, but we really got to know each other in Europe on a 5-week-long trip where you and I shared a car together. What an incredible trip to create such an incredible friendship that's lasted so long.
Yeah. So let me first address the 10 plus year of our friendship. So I believe, and you can attest to it, I think we're more than friends, we're like sisters.
We are.
Because friendship has certain bounds. I just think that we go beyond those boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And we can share anything with each other.
Yeah.
And I've called you where, I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this. How do I?" And you've
The
called
same.
me too, right? And we've had sporadic trips, and I think that's what makes us like sisters.
Yeah, it's true. Even it's cute because I know even your mom and your parents call me your sister.
Yeah,
So I think that's
exactly.
awesome.
So that's what makes it like we're truly outside of the cliche of like family. We truly are like
Yeah,
family.
absolutely.
And yes, that European trip is what has connected us forever.
Yeah, I agree. I used to refer to it as kind of the best team building event that's ever, it's like the most epic team building event that ever occurred.
Throw
But
a
that's,
bunch of people in a crisis situation, and let's
yes,
see
yes, that's
let's
it.
see
Yeah,
how they develop, right?
that is the fastest way to create a team, and the person that did that is very smart and did a good job, And then we ended up reaping the benefits. Something you said about travel, I also um, have been able to travel extensively for probably the last 20 plus years with work. Not all the same companies, but just happened to be in jobs that allowed me to do that. And I really don't know if, with where I was when I came into this industry, I don't know if I would have been able to do that type of travel otherwise if it wasn't related to work. So anyone out there who's wanting to travel the world but can't figure out how to do it, maybe figure out how to get a job that helps you do that. That's not what I was aiming for, but certainly when I ended up in roles that ended up that way, oh, I was very, very thankful for that. It
Yeah,
does make a difference. It opens your mind.
it
Yeah,
opens up your mind, right? Because you're just set on certain ways, but then when you hear
yeah,
people out, it changes your perspective.
completely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a couple of things about you, Debbie. Uh,
Uh-oh.
no, all good things. Don't worry. Don't worry. I agree with your assessment that you are a born leader. And the reason why I say that is because you connect with people just naturally. It's not work for you, right? And you just have that human connection where you see the person for who they are and what they bring to the table
Yeah.
and not what you want them to be. And
Yeah, that is true.
that is what makes it very different. So you look at the human element, and I believe it comes from your upbringing.
I think it might because I thought about this not that long ago. One thing that was absolutely not celebrated was me being me. Yeah. So yeah, my upbringing, but maybe not in the way that you think. So it wasn't the lack of discussion about career wasn't like, oh, do what you want. It was a little bit of an environment where I was celebrated if I did things the right way, and the right way was not the right way was defined, predefined, and if I didn't meet that definition, then I was doing something wrong. And so I've been told, many things like you don't take things seriously enough, or you're very well, just because I laugh, right? I enjoy life and like to have a nice time, but that doesn't mean I don't take things seriously. I used to be one of the most high strung, serious people I know of, but I think I've gone the opposite direction in a way. I so celebrate individuality, but I don't think it's a bad thing because everyone with all their perspectives just they bring so much to the table. It's fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and I know you and I have talked about how you were brought up, and I will say that I've told you this before, but I will say that on record is I believe that the series of events that you went through has helped you become who you are as a person. You're resilient. I don't think I've seen anybody else as resilient as you and strong as you because and I mean it in every single way. You
Mhm.
know, I don't know how you do it, but you are very, very strong,
Mhm.
extremely strong. And that strength is what makes you who you are.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to make me cry on this.
But it's getting to it's all about, getting to know each other, right? And talking
Yeah.
about what makes us who we are. And that's what I see in you. And
Mhm.
I feel like for me, it looks like your life is all put together. But I know that you work like extremely hard behind the scenes to get to that stage.
Yeah, that is true. I have always believed in having a growth mindset. That has a lot to do with it. You really don't know how much you can handle until you have to handle the things, right? And then it's how you handle the things, not sitting with it, not staying there in that space, processing whatever that means to you. Yeah, so it's been a lot of that. Yeah. You did ask what I do for fun and what I'm excited about and all of that. Oh my goodness. What do I do for fun? I don't know. I've started walking. I used to exercise at CrossFit and then I hurt my back and I can't do that anymore. So now I walk. I try to do a few miles every day if my schedule allows it. I binge on other people's podcasts. I'm redecorating a room in my house. I'm prepping to get married at the end of the month, which is nice.
Very exciting.
Yes, very exciting to someone I've known from more than 20 years. He's awesome. Yeah. So I would like to say I don't do as much shopping anymore. I used to do all the shopping. Actually, let's be honest. I'm leaving for Europe tomorrow for a trip, and I have my big suitcase, and I have so much space in it, and I totally plan on filling it up. So I'm with you on that. But yeah, my recent shopping has been furniture.
And you have room for some chocolates.
I know that's why I have the
That's
space.
essential, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
you're at the airport and you're like, okay, how can I get through the security gate so I can get some chocolates before I have to board the flight? That's like a must.
Oh,
So
I'm going to buy them before and pack them in my check
that's
luggage.
what I thought about too. Exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I'm gonna do. That's the strategy. You get off the plane, you buy, and you put it in your check luggage. And if you miss something, you have opportunity to get them on your way back to the U.S. and
Yep.
bring all the goodies back home. So
Yep.
we've got
Yep.
it down to the T, right?
We're pros. This is fine. I mean, we've traveled enough to these places that we know exactly what store and exactly what airport
Right.
and what order we're going to go get those.
Exactly. And I've already planned out as soon as I land, I have to have enough time. But, in Europe, everything shuts down at 5, right? So I got to pick up a few things. So make sure that I get there in time. I just need an hour and I know where to go,
Yeah,
which is the scary part. All right, we're back.
we're back.
Just for everybody, what we do is at least on a weekly basis we would have a session where we would talk about our career opportunities, growth, how can we get better, what's the next step for us, right? So yeah, I think you expressed that you want to get out there, you want to help people in different capacity, different aspects. And so yeah, and then obviously we were talking about nobody wants this, and we talk, and in that they have a podcast among the sisters.
Yep.
So that's how we came up with the idea, and then your daily DM was found. But I believe it happened this year, if I'm not mistaken.
It did happen this year. We started talking about it and it took us a little bit to get schedules to coordinate and it still takes us a lot to get schedules to coordinate for to do this, right? We record for maybe an hour and it is so hard to pin down an hour yeah, to have this. Yeah.
And Debbie does a phenomenal job in editing, and I have no idea how to do that. So we complement each other, right?
Yeah.
where her strengths are. I leverage those strengths, and wherever my strengths are, whatever they are, we leverage my strengths and we make it happen. And we're continually evolving. So if you happen to watch us and want us to talk about something, feel free to put in the comments what you want us to talk about, and we will certainly do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember looking for mentors and trying to get advice. What do I need to do to go to the next level and blah, blah, all of that stuff. And no one was good at telling me how to do that. Nobody. I was really shocked at the absence of people who could. You would think that somebody who's been there and done that could tell you how to get there and do that, like do that so you can get there. And there are people who exist that do that, but they're very few and far between, I have found. So I do it as a way to kind of fast track other people's careers if I can, because I feel I was fighting for a long time. My career was like a compound interest chart. It was like this. It seemed flat for a long time, and then it was a little gain, and then finally up, in a concentrated period of years. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of how it looks.
That's a really good perspective.
That's one of the topics I like listening, binging podcasts or money podcasts, right? I listen to a lot of that, so I think in compound interest. Anyways.
The mentorship mentee topic could be one of our episodes, and I think that there's a lot of value in having that as a topic. So who knows? One of the upcoming episodes could be around that, because there's a lot that we can learn from each other, but also put into place for others. Like you said, you had no direction, there was nothing in place. It's one thing to put certain things on paper, but to get from point A to point B, that's the
Yep.
difficult, right, portion.
Yep.
So how do you get to that? And that's what I think we should talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love that topic. So I could go on forever. I won't, but that's a little bit as to how we ended up here at Your Daily DM, which it's been super fun. We had committed to do 3 episodes and then see what we thought and decide after that. This is episode 3.
It's very clear to me. I want to continue.
That's awesome. Me too. Well, that is it for now from us. Thanks for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed getting to know us a little bit. We hope that you join the conversation and that you come back. Let us know what you want us to talk about, any topics you want to cover. We're here to help you fast track that career and navigate work life and everything in between. Okay.
Awesome.
Bye.
Go us. Bye.
Go us. Bye.